Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr here today, and I am sharing a Halloween die cut scene card with some of my favorite Mama Elephant stamps and dies, and I'm going to be using some stencils for the background from Simon Says Stamp. I love creating all die cut scene cards, and I love this little kitty from Mama Elephant, and I've used it many times in lots of different ways, and I thought today it would be fun paired with the pumpkin favor bag add-on to create a little scene for Halloween. I've die cut my pumpkin here from the pumpkin favor bag add-on from some Hero Hues pumpkin cardstock, and I'm going to add shading to this with YR16 and YR68 Copic markers. This adds fantastic shading to the design and gives the die cuts lots of depth and dimension, which is something that I really love. When creating a die cut scene card, I think it's kind of important, not always, but oftentimes, to find ways to add depth and dimension much as we would if we were stamping and coloring images. So I think of it very much like stamping and coloring and just adding that color to the die cut pieces. To the top of my pumpkin, I have die cut a stem from some Hero Arts Hero Hues chestnut cardstock, and I added shading to that with some brown Copic markers with E47 and E49, and then I've got eyes and a mouth from that same add-on set that were die cut from Hero Hues pitch black cardstock. Now this pumpkin favor bag add-on, you can actually create just a plain pumpkin, so maybe you want to switch this up and make it more of a fall themed card. You can do that. Or there's lots of options for different mouths and eyes for the jack-o'-lantern. So you don't necessarily have to do it just like this. There's 3 mouth options, 3 eye options, and you can mix and match whatever you want to create. Then there's a couple of little squiggly swirlies that come with it, which are great for decorating the top, and some leaves. I'm going to go ahead and put crystal lacquer over the eyes and the mouth of my jack-o'-lantern to really make those shine. I went ahead and did this early on in the card making project so that this could sit and dry while I worked on shading the rest of my die cut images and also stenciling and putting together the background for my card. We're going to glue one of those little squiggles there to the top of our jack-o'-lantern, and then I've got 2 leaves, the 2 leaf images from this die collection that I'm going to color with G9499. These same colors will be used to add some shading and dimension to the grass border that will add to the background of our card. I'm using some craft tweezers to help hold those in place as well. Little die cuts like this really benefit from some craft tweezers. It helps you hold on to them and keep fingers out of the glue while assembling all those little bits and pieces. Now, because we've added all this depth and dimension to our jack-o'-lantern, we want to continue that design with our cat. Even though our cat is die cut from some dark cardstock, I purposely die cut the cat from it's a mid to dark color of cardstock, and I'm going to add shading with Copic markers. So we're going to take warm gray 5 and 7 and just add in this great shading, which is going to deepen and darken the cat. The stripes for the cat's head are going to be added with a die cut piece. These pieces are from the Inside Pop Bunny and Cat, so that's where the cat face and the tail come from. And then from the Book Buddy Bear and Dog set are some paws. These 2 die collections are interchangeable. So if you have the Inside Pop Bunny and Cat and the Book Buddy Bear and Dog, you can make a bear, dog, cat, bunny, and then a couple of different options for bodies. The Book Buddy makes a bookmark, the other one makes a pop-up, or you can use them like I'm doing here and mix and match the heads and create interesting and unique ways to add them with other dies or add them to cards. I have done this many times. I will be linking to a couple more ideas for using one of these die collections or these 2 die collections on cards at the end of this video. Now, once we have the cat assembled, and we are going to add some little pink die cuts to the insides of the ears, black for the eyes, black for the nose and the mouth. I'm also going to add crystal lacquer to the eyes and the nose and let that completely dry. I did go ahead and assemble this. I was just kind of careful. Probably, normally I would let that sit and completely dry before touching it because I do have a tendency to get my hands into it, but I did kind of live on the edge there and went ahead and did that, and I hooked them together and used my tweezers to hold them in place. Now the paws were important because I wanted to be able for the cat to be looking like it's peeking up around the jack-o'-lantern. And then I want the tail coming out for the illusion that the entire cat's body is back behind that jack-o'-lantern. So just kind of a great way to give that look without actually having those pieces. So, so cute. Love that. Now, as I was working on the paws, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be fun to add some little fangs to the cat to make it a little vampire kitty, because this is a Halloween card. I knew already I was going to use my white gel pen or my white pen to add detail, in particular to the areas that I've added crystal lacquer to. Once that's completely dry, I'll go back in with my pen and add highlights. I'll add some little white dots to the cheek and then some highlights throughout the rest of the design. And I thought it would be really cute and funny to add those little fangs. So you will see that here in a little bit. In the finished card, you might have noticed that. Just another way to kind of make your card super unique and fun. So everything has dried. I actually let this sit for quite a while. I'm coming back. Now I am adding in those fangs, the little highlights, all those little bits and pieces that really make this so cute. I love it. And look at what a difference the crystal lacquer makes for the eyes and the mouth. That really makes those shiny, and I love how that looks. So we've got the main component of our card. Now, even though this is the main component, one of my absolute favorite things about this design are going to be the little spiders that I added. And that was, I knew I was going to add one spider, but by accident, when I was quote unquote shopping my stash, which is what I like to call when I'm going through my supplies looking for products that might work together, I discovered that there's 2 favor bag add-ons that have spiders. So we'll be adding 2 different spiders to our card. I also thought it was important to add a grassy border to ground our image. So this was die cut using the a grassy trio die from Mama Elephant. This was die cut from some dark green cardstock. And then I added G94 and 99 to that with a feathering technique to give it that great texture. So I've die cut the PEGWORKS die twice, once from white cardstock and once from black cardstock. From the white, we're going to use the inside rectangle piece and the Simon Says stamp Clouds for Days stencil with Lawn Fawn soot ink and a blender brush to create this black cloudy sky. Instead of using lots of dies for the sky, I knew I wanted to layer some stencils to keep down the bulk of my card, and also I wanted it to have that Halloween vibe and feel to it without taking away from the cute die cuts. So we're simply going to stencil with a die ink all over this panel, just working our way down. You can use whatever ink you have on hand. The die ink is actually applying really nice to this. I love how it looks. And I'm going to use the Simon Says stamp Clouds for Days stencil first, but then we're going to go over this design. We're not going to switch inks or anything like that, same ink color, and we are going to add the Simon Says stamp Falling Star stencil over the top for that depth and dimension. And again, the stars just add to the Halloween vibe of this particular design. That Falling Star stencil, when I get to it here, you're going to notice that it has been well loved. It's got some staining on it. Even though I do try to clean it up often, it has staining on it because I have used this so many times. And I think that's always the sign of a good product, is when it's obviously been well loved. So let's go ahead and just kind of temporarily adhere this in place so it doesn't slide all over, and then take our Lawn Fawn Soot ink again and apply the ink with a little heavier hand in that blender brush right over that. When I lift this away, you're going to see that we've got stars on clouds here, and then we can adhere our grass border along the bottom edge. So let's go ahead and finish building our background. I am going to go ahead and keep the white frame and adhere that to a white side fold card base. Then I've got my inside panel stenciled rectangle that we're going to apply the grass, and then the black frame goes on top of that. And then we're going to take this PAOLA'S Wishes sentiment. This says Wishing You, and we're going to stamp that with clear embossing ink in the upper right corner of the sky, and then emboss with white embossing powder. We're going to be pairing this with a Simon Says Stamp Sentiment Strips Halloween sentiment. It actually said, the sentiment strip read, "Wishing you all the treats your bag can hold." And I simply just cut off the wishing you, and then I trimmed up the strips to fit my card design. And you're going to see that when I get to putting everything together there. To finish off the sentiment, we're going to use that little sentiment strip. So now that we have our background built, let's go ahead and add our main focal point image. And then we have just a few finishing touches left to do, which includes adding the rest of our sentiment, adding the rest of our images, the spiders, and embellishing. I ended up adding another black PEGWORKS frame around this border. I felt like it just needed a little more dimension. So there's 3 frames there, and then the inside scene that I've built with dies and stencils. So much fun. Now here are the spiders. This one, the bigger spider, is from the Halloween Favor Bag add-on. And then the small spider is from the Favor Bag PIGGIE add-on. The Favor Bag PIGGIE was the one I was not thinking of, because you can kind of create like the Charlotte's Web type of image with that particular die set, which is adorable, by the way. I'm a huge fan of the Favor Bag add-ons from Mama Elephant. But I love that there are 2 different spiders, and I had to use them both because I really felt like they were such a great addition to this scene card, and they add such a cute little touch. So I went ahead and adhered those. And then I originally thought I'd keep my sentiment strip that I remember I've already trimmed down because it said wishing you all the treats your bag can hold. Well, I went ahead and trimmed off the wishing you part because I've stamped that part of the sentiment. And I didn't like how it overlapped everything. I don't mind a tiny overlap, but just visually, I felt like that didn't work. So I'm going to trim, I removed my adhesive. I'm going to trim this apart with my scissors, and then we're going to put some more foam adhesive on the back and re-adhere this to our card. I left this in because I think it's kind of important to talk about the creative process, and when things maybe aren't working, how you can rework certain products or designs elements on your card to make the card work a little better. Finally, we are going to add a whimsical touch to our spiders with some little teeny tiny Google eyes from Pretty Pink Posh. I haven't used Google eyes in quite some time, but I really felt like they were the perfect finishing touch for this little card. You definitely want to use little ones because the spiders are pretty small, and I absolutely love how they turned out. Super, super fun, and just the perfect little finishing touch for these little guys. Now, the last couple of things I want to do is take my white pen, because we've added some detail to the cat and the leaves already. I want to add some detail to my jack-o'-lantern, but keep it a little bit on the lighter side. So I'm using a really light hand, but just kind of following those natural lines of the jack-o'-lantern. And I want to add a few additional highlights to my cat, not too many, but a few, to the stem of my pumpkin. And then with the stars in the sky of our card, I felt like I still needed just a little something sparkly. And so I'm going to use the Pretty Pink Posh Iridescent Mini Star Confetti. And I'm going to just adhere those throughout the sky. That means that when you tip your card kind of at an angle, you're going to see this great little iridescent touch, and it's going to kind of just light up and sparkle in the sky a little bit. And I think that adds just another element to this spooky design. I like to add little dabs of glue, and I'm using the Crystal Katana to pick up these confetti pieces and put them right in place where I want them to go. So here is a look at the finished Halloween card design. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this die-cut Halloween scene with a jack-o'-lantern and kitty featuring Mama Elephant dies. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more cards featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel to never miss a new card making or paper crafting video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.